We packed up from the Sweetwater River camp and started heading toward Angus Well.
8:04. A little later start than we wanted. We wanted 8:30. Although that's 15 minutes. Might have been walking up the hill from the camp. It's definitely a bumpier road than yesterday. Not champagne gravel.
Yesterday was a fantastic day. Despite being 98 miles, it was fairly easy. Today is similar, except for the gravel's not as good, and it's shorter. We have 69 miles. We are headed toward Dingus Well, which is 11.3 miles from our camp last night.
Dingus Well is off to the right here. It's pretty easy to miss. There's no signage or anything. It's a pretty small road. We went by it the first time. The mileage is pretty good.
There was a couple that camped near the well last night and were leaving. This shows some pictures of the flow from the well. It was topped off our water, then we headed out.
Tell it's been pretty muddy here.
Great Basin is a bowl and it doesn't let any water out. The Continental Divide goes around it and not through it. As a result, it can get quite muddy and there's no water for 58 miles and it gets windy. The Great Basin has its own beauty. You can see out for miles and there's no trees. The only development in the basin that I saw was these oil wells. There's probably about 20 oil wells and some storage tanks. Besides that, there is nothing out here. You might see one or two cars per day, but it's basically a high plain desert. The roads in this area, you could tell there was a lot of mud several days ago when it was wet. It's dry now. Here's another area that's pretty. It's white sandy gravel. There are no trees and the mountains are set back away so you can see very far, and it is quite pretty. It's a unique landscape. It's a high desert, like I said, and a lot of people really like it. It's their favorite section.
Scott ahead. We're 45.7 miles in for today. Been riding into a headwind. The road must have changed directions. This has been rough the last half hour. Looks like the road's coated with about a half inch of sand, a quarter inch of sand, and from the wind blowing. We made a left turn back there. Now we got a tailwind. A lot nicer. Getting cloudier out in the distance. It's like maybe a little rain. I guess it will miss it though. Okay, we just went straight. The normal course veers to the right pretty steep, and we go straight to the reservoir, hopefully down the road about a mile. this is day 5, Saturday. We went across a little bit over half the basin today. We started at Sweetwater River, that's about 11 miles outside of Atlantic City, into the basin. It gave us a little bit of a head start. We went up, then we went to Dingus Well, another 10 miles, and filled up with water. Then we rode across the Great Basin. We're right at the Reservoir right now. It's a popular campsite. I think we have 9 people camping on the site if you count the 2 on the other side tonight. And there could be more. It was around 70 miles, a little over 3,000 feet of climb. And we didn't feel like going much further. Been nice to knock out another 10, 20 miles, but we were beat. We had a headwind for about 7, 8 miles, and I could tell you don't want to do this basin with a 15-mile-an-hour headwind. I'm glad it was tailwind most of the day. And tomorrow the wind's going to switch directions. It's going to come out of the northeast, so we'll have a partial headwind tomorrow to finish up this. I think we have about 57 miles to get us into Rawlings. So anyways, this has been a great ride today, another one, and signing off for now.
Great Basin is not only beautiful during the day, but also at night. Here is a photo that Scott took.